everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crafty Beer Reviews. Today I will be reviewing the latest and last collaborative release from Stone for this year. This right here is the Tin Barrel Bluejacket Stone Suede Imperial Porter. Now, this is a pretty interesting one for a variety of reasons. One, they've used avocado honey, jasmine, and calendula flowers. I believe that's the correct pronunciation. And then the other cool thing about this too is that the brewmaster for Tin Barrel and the brewmaster for Bluejacket are both women. And I think that there's going to start being a lot more women in craft beer, which I think is really, really cool. But this is definitely one I've been looking forward to. I love a nice big Imperial Porter, so it should be interesting to see how these ingredients work with it. Wow. Definitely smell the jasmine. There's definitely a honey sweetness in there. It's very, very floral. There's kind of like a nondescript type of fruitiness in there. Almost smells like a citrus peel or something along those lines. It's definitely very sweet. Definitely get the jasmine. And then there's a little bit of roastiness, some very slight chocolate and coffee in the background, but wow, those spices really overpowering the traditional porter smell. Wow, that's crazy. Alright guys, let's go ahead and take our first sip. Just like in the aroma, the first thing I get is a really big jasmine punch. Right after that, there's a little bit of that honey sweetness. It actually does taste like honey. And then after that, that's when more of the coffee chocolate roast comes in. Yeah, very floral, decently sweet right up front. But the longer it sits on your palate, you get some dark chocolate, there's some milk chocolate in there, definitely some coffee. Nice amount of roast too. It's not overly roasty, but it's definitely in there. It's not quite like a deep, like dark char character or anything like that. It's got a nice, it's on the fuller side of medium for a body. It has a decently creamy texture as well. I can kind of see why they were thinking suede with this, because it is a very kind of velvety, rich mouthfeel as it coats your tongue. It's got a decent amount of bitterness on the back end, even though the front end is really, really sweet. And then that 9.6% is hidden really, really well. Like, if I were drinking this, I would assume it's probably just your traditional porter. I really would have no inclination that this is almost 10%, so that's good. I mean, I get like a very slight hint of a warmth as it goes down, but you cannot taste or smell the alcohol whatsoever. It's an interesting beer, and as it kind of is warming up a little bit, I am getting more of the coffee and roast and the chocolate, but it's still just dominated by that jasmine, by the floral notes, by the honey. So I'm slightly disappointed. It's not a bad beer. However, I wish that the porter elements were a little bit more in your face and the spices were a little bit more subdued in the background. That being said, still a really, really nice drinking Imperial Porter. And I already have one bottle. I'm probably going to pick up another bottle just to see how it ages, because I would think this one would age really, really well. So as far as my rating, guys, I'm going with an 8.8 out of 10. I really love that it does have a nice mix of sweetness and bitterness. Sweet up front, bitter in the background. I like the traditional porter elements. I just wish that they were more intense, and then I wish that the spices were a little bit subdued. But that being said, the jasmine, the floral aspect, the honey actually does mix rather well with a porter background, which I think is pretty cool, and the alcohol is extremely well hidden. That being said, I think that it'll end up being a better beer once it's aged, maybe like a year or two, so the spices are a little bit more subdued. But as it's drinking out, very nice beer. Good way to cap off the collaboration series from Stone this year. So yeah, very cool stuff. And as far as my musical recommendation goes tonight, I want you guys to check out Thelonious Monk and his album from 1967, couldn't remember the year, called Straight No Chaser. Now, this is a smooth beer, very velvety, rich texture. You know, like it's got a great mouthfeel. That's one of the biggest reasons this beer actually is so nice, is because it does have that great mouthfeel. And just like how smooth this beer is, Thelonious Monk is a really smooth jazz player. He's got some funky moments, but it's pretty traditional jazz. It's really nice stuff. If you guys are into that type of music, it's a great record if you don't already know about it. Alright guys, that does it for this beer review. And remember, I hope whatever you're doing involves good craft beer. See ya.